Welcome to Squared Circle Jerks. We are reviewing WWE Smackdown from June 6th, 2017. With me, as always, is Byron.
And Larson.
And I'm Mike, who I guess is the equivalent to Larson if we're going with that route.
I guess, yeah, you would be the Larson. I would be the more exuberant Steve.
It would be likely.
I think so.
Anyways, we're here to talk about Smackdown for the 2 hours that it was on, and we're also going to be 205 Live right after this.
Yep.
So,
we might as well just bundle it all in one show.
We'll split it up in case people don't want to watch it.
That's fair enough.
Yeah. So, what were your thoughts on the show as a whole, just before we get rolling?
Wasn't really any better than last week, and it certainly wasn't as good as Raw this week. In a nutshell, that's pretty much my attitude on it.
I thought it was a fair bit better than last week's, because last week left me grouchy and curmudgeon-y. This week I was pretty happy.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah, I guess it would be better than last week, but it's just not as good as I think it should be, if that makes any sense.
True enough, and it wasn't as good as Raw, but I thought it was pretty good. Let's roll through here. We had the women's Money in the Bank sort of package deal. We're having a women's Money in the Bank, that kind of thing. And then Shane McMahon comes out, and the ladies are in the ring to greet him, and he unveils the briefcase.
Yeah, I skipped all of this. I don't care about... I've heard them all do their promos against each other. I've heard them all do their promos about how they should all be the champion. I skipped over this. I did pause when Lana came down to the ring, because you do that. But as soon as she started to speak, it was very clear that her character is not something that she's comfortable with or should be portraying at all. So I just sort of kept it on mute and watched her do her thing, and then skipped over the next match, because I don't need to see this match over and over and over and over and over, and then have them all in a Money in a Bank match. I don't need that kind of overkill. So please continue, sir, with your more pertinent insights into this particular segment and match.
Yeah, I agree with some of what you're saying. This is a little bit of overkill, and the promos didn't do really much. Especially hearing Charlotte talk about Natty dragging her uncle through the mud and stuff, and kind of bringing up the nostalgia pop that wrestlers are trying to get off of, like being second generation and stuff. And it runs kind of flat when you consider that Charlotte is, well, much better. She is doing the same thing with Ric Flair with the woos and stuff. So yeah.
And didn't she had the giant public blow off with Ric Flair last year? Like, wasn't it this time last year that she did the whole public, "Oh, get away from me!"
Yeah, about that. Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
Anyways, it was just a little bit of pot calling the kettle black. Probably he would have repurposed that promo for, I don't know, Becky or Carmella. I don't know. And then, like you said, Lana came out. The entrance she has, that music,
I'm watching it.
It sucks.
It does suck.
Her music sucks.
I do agree 100% plus 2, but I'm still going to stop and watch it because she's very watchable.
She is very watchable. I will say that the crowd reaction for Lana was quite large, and then they kind of went heel with her, and that kind of soured the crowd a little bit, because they wanted to cheer for Lana, and to have her kind of not be like any super heely or anything, but to be clearly positioned as the heel here did it no favors. I mean, hell, even Shane got booed when he says that what Lana's doing doesn't work for him, and that she can't be in the match. Like, he got booed, and Shane's pretty over right now, so that was pretty impressive. I hope someone watched that and realized that Lana as a face could make a good run. They won't. Yep. They won't, but I'm just throwing it out there.
People love her and Rusev. They're excellent together, and therefore they should really be pushed, maybe not as faces. They're excellent as tweeners. They're fantastic. They're obviously not heels, because nobody's going to boo unless Rusev comes out and literally slaughters 10,000 kittens in a ring. He's not going to get boos.
Yeah, not anymore. So, there was a time when he got booed. But.
Yeah. But it's so obvious that he's so good and he's so fucking funny that it's not even a question anymore that they're not heels, and so don't try and push them as heels. An additional note, I had a thought that maybe they're going to do a flip role reversal and they're going to have Handsome Rusev come out and he's just going to be Handsome Rusev and he's going to wear a suit with his handsome haircut and he'll be the manager while she wrestles or tries to wrestle. And if she's not really any good in the ring, that can be her character. She can just be not very good in the ring and not very good at wrestling while he's on the outside and he has to kind of watch and go, no, come on, baby, you can do this. Oh, maybe you can't.
Maybe you really can't.
I think that would be, I mean, they were the best thing on TV for almost most of last year, and I think they could be even better this year.
Mm-hmm. And I think that being said, though, the heel side of the SmackDown men's roster can really use heel Rusev. Oh, God.
Yeah, that's true.
It is so bad. Just watching this show made me realize just how thin it is.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was trying to think of, if you took, well, honestly, just the roster in general. I was trying to think of a reworked Money in the Bank. We'll talk about this later, but I was trying to think of a reworked Money in the Bank and was like absolutely stumped as to who my sixth guy would be. And I'm just like, oh, God. It's so bad.
We could do it now. Run it down for me. I mean, Money in the Bank's
no. It kind of goes into what we're going to talk about after this. So we'll run it down then.
All right. All right.
So Lana said that she could beat Naomi, which has no boundary in reality because she's never had a match. But
no, which is awesome. I love it when people are very obviously that crazy. Like they don't take even themselves seriously. I could totally beat her. I could totally beat Goldberg.
Yeah. Anyways, we end up with this. We have a 6-woman tag after this. The 6-woman tag was quite good, actually. I thought this was the prior ones I had not liked because they were not booked particularly properly. This one was booked around the limitations of the people in the match. Like they made good use of Tamina and Carmella. We've kind of been through this.
Sounds odd.
We've kind of been through this before, but like Carmella and Tamina are not good wrestlers. But Tamina can do a lot of power spots because she's a big, powerful girl, and Carmella can sell really, really well.
Fair enough.
And they basically said, okay, what we're going to have you do is power moves, and you're going to sell, and then all the actual wrestling is going to be done by Natty. And as a result, this is a pretty good match. This is like straight out of the Paul Heyman school of making a match of, we're going to make use of your strengths, and we're going to just hide your weaknesses.
All right. Okay, cool. I'll go back and watch it then, because I just wasn't prepared to engage in the same match. They had this match last week. They had the match the week before. They had this match at the pay-per-view, didn't they? Or
it's not a perception-altering match by any means. Like I don't think any higher for these girls, and nor was it like a 5-star classic or anything. But it was actually quite watchable. I don't know if I would say go back and watch it again, but
I didn't watch it in the first place.
It was watchable. It really was. It was better than the prior ones they'd had.
Fair enough.
And Lana comes out and basically costs the match by distracting Naomi and tripping her on the apron. And then Tamina gets the super kick for the pin, which was really weird that they gave Tamina the pin on the champion because like Tamina is like the very afterthought in this whole feud. Like she has no
that's
role.
Probably why they did it.
So that was interesting, although that's the third visual pin in like a month that you've had on Naomi. Might want to stop doing that, I'm just saying. But it leads to something for Money in the Bank, which we'll get to later. Then we have Shane backstage with Mojo Rawley! Mojo wants an opportunity, basically, because a unique opportunity. It's so bad that I totally forgot he won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal because he's been doing nothing.
I remember nothing because I like Mojo, and that's the last thing I saw him do, other than have the kid flip him off or do whatever the fuck, or kicked him. Kid kicked him. I like Mojo. I think he's got great personality. He still needs work in the ring, but what they do is they play him up as a guy who's just out of control, and therefore he's not, very polished in the ring, which is totally believable.
Which kind of, and again, it kind of goes back to what we were just talking about with the last match. It's playing off his strengths and actually hiding his weaknesses pretty well.
Which is so weird for Vince.
Basically, he understands that this is Shane trying to motivate him, but he's actually kind of angry if he has been forgotten. and then reminds us that he did, in fact, beat Jinder Mahal. So Shane basically lists off a bunch of people who are looking for a big break, an opportunity. He goes through 3 or 4 names, and Luke Harper was like the last one, and Harper got a pretty good crowd reaction.
Yeah, he did. Ty Dillinger, Luke Harper, and someone else.
Mm-hmm. So Harper got a nice little pop. Hopefully people are paying attention backstage and realize that there's a little something with Harper right now. And then Shane says he'll give him an opportunity. He's going to face off with Jinder Mahal later tonight in a Money in the Bank qualifier, which, by the way, terrible use of your champion, but whatever.
Yep. I mean, it gives him a visual win over the last guy to beat him. That's about it.
Yeah, but it's just like the whole booking of like, hey, if he beats you, no, he doesn't get a title shot. He gets a shot in Money in the Bank. Like, It's not good. We get a Money in the Bank hype package and then a 205 hype package. So a lot of packages in a row here. All we needed was a couple of small package pins at this point. We'd be great. Then we had AJ Styles versus Dolph Ziggler, and 2 things. I like this match more than the one they had before. There was a little more pace to it. Just a better match altogether. Still not what I think these two can do, so that's a downside, but it was better. But on the really downside is that Dave Meltzer and a couple other people were claiming that the reason that Dolph got the win on AJ Styles at AJ's hometown was to justify a rematch. You didn't have to justify a rematch. You could have given AJ the win in his hometown and then had Dolph win this match.
Yep.
That would have made more sense.
You could have Dolph come out today and say, listen, that's bullshit. Give me a rematch. And then Shane goes, all right, there. I just wrote it for you. Isn't that fantastic?
Yeah, pretty much.
I like this match. I like the fact that it was basically the whole match was counters, and I really, really liked it. And that's pretty much all I got to say. But like everybody was, not only were they countering each other's expected moves, but they were countering each other's counters that they had already seen the guy do like a week or 2 before. Mm-hmm. So I really, as far as long form storytelling, these guys are doing it perfectly well, perfectly right. It's excellent.
Mm-hmm. No, like I liked it. I just think that these two can do better. Is all. That's it. That we have not hit the peak, which is probably good because like a pay-per-view is probably where you want to hit the peak. But
one would assume.
But it was good. We had some nice amateur wrestling stuff, some interesting pins that we don't tend to see a lot of. We had
some good cradles and things like that.
Mm-hmm, some good striking exchanges. We had Dolph Ziggler. I've been kind of crapping on him the last couple of weeks because he's not been very good. But he seems to be figuring out how to work as a heel a little bit better now. Because he's picking up the pace a little bit. He's still taking the liberties, like pulling the hair a little bit, using the ropes, that kind of thing. So he's still working like a bad guy, something that if we went back 5 years, he was like incapable of doing. Like there is a difference between face Ziggler and heel Ziggler now. So, you know what? It's kind of interesting to see him develop this way. So I'm hoping to see more. They actually have a smart face moment for a change where AJ goes for the phenomenal forearm. Ziggler tries to do what he did last week, and AJ just steps back and doesn't let it happen. The face did something smart. It's amazing. And then we had a sunset flip deal, and then we wound up with a kind of out of nowhere AJ Styles clash a little bit. Usually there's a little more build-up, but...
I was more in favor of doing it this way than any other way. I really... Because they teased it, he hit the sit-out power bomb. Or, that was it. He hit the sit-out power bomb, didn't get the pin, or maybe he only let the ref count to 1, and then turned him over and then went right into it. And it was perfect combo. I don't know. I don't know if he's done this in the past and I've just never seen him do it, or if this is a new thing he's trying, but I like it. It's a good combo. Mm-hmm. You have to smash both sides of your opponent.
Yeah, I'm just saying it came out of nowhere, not that it was a bad thing. It was good. It's good. You could do out of nowhere sometimes and it's good. Sometimes it's bad, but sometimes it's good.
Sometimes it's just the latest RKO in a series of RKOs.
Then we had the Fashion Files with Tyler Breeze actually being kind of our opening to the Fashion Files as opposed to Fandango, who usually gets that role. There was some interesting stuff here with I took the cologne down to the Lab Boys and discovered there was no lab and there was no boys. So I just tasted it for a while. And I don't think it belongs to the clones. I don't think it's the clones' cologne.
Cologne. And they did the cologne bit for a while. That was good. Honestly, this is probably my least favorite of the Fashion Files, but that's like saying this is my least favorite slice of pizza. It's not bad at all. I did enjoy it. It got a little awkward because the New Day just aren't in that rhythm. They didn't really have the... I don't know if it's because of the voiceover that was going to be put in later, that they weren't just on cue, but they were a little offbeat. Maybe they're just, not used to... They're a little rusty from being off TV for a while, maybe.
I thought that actually kind of added to it because it made the New Day seem like to be reacting to this weird shit kind of on their own.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
So that wasn't necessarily a bad thing. The New Day, as said, New Day came in. They basically seem to want intel on the Usos, and they offer like clothing as a bribe. And Fandango has this whole speech about not being a dirty cop, and Breeze is like, "Oh God, it fits! It's so awesome! It's so neat! It's
got pockets and everything."
And then we even had a New Case Rocks thing to take us out. New Case Rocks. Case Rocks.
That is the power of the Fashion Police. They can get anything over in 5 minutes or less, dude.
Mm-hmm.
They got a mop over in like less time than it takes to say the word mop.
I know, it's fantastic. They're doing such a great job right now. The only thing is, I know that WWE is going to bury them at some point because they're not their kind of guys. Well, Johnny Curtis is actually not sure why he's never gotten a push.
They're just going to see them as comedy guys, and Vince views comedy guys as guys that you can literally do nothing with and then just interject for... He thinks that the crowd will laugh if the comedy guy just gets the crap kicked out of him for no reason. Mm-hmm. That's how Vince thinks. Mm-hmm. And that's not why these guys are funny. And I don't think maybe he'll get it. Maybe this Sam Spade stuff is right up his alley because it's from the 50s. Maybe that's the chord that they're hitting. I don't know. But you're not wrong. They'll probably get buried at some point, even though they should really have the titles and be feuding with the New Day.
Then we had Mojo Rawley versus Jinder Mahal in a match, which, for two guys who are not very good in the ring, this was pretty good.
Yeah.
The crowd is really into Mojo, so please do something with him. Like, pronto, things need to be done.
Nice new gear, too. He doesn't have the brown shorts. He's got lime green, and he's all hype, bro. He started doing the he ain't hype, which I'm down with. I'll do that.
We had a lot of Mojo Rawley in control. Well, not he wasn't in control. He was in control of the match, but very much not himself as he was going wild. So it was interesting.
Wild on him, bro.
Yeah. It took the Sings kind of interfering, not really interfering, but like teasing interference to get Jinder back in control. I will say this, for a guy as green as he is, Mojo Rawley works a rest hold really well. Like, he was in Jinder Mahal's headlock, and a lot of guys kind of don't go dead in the rest hold, and it's why it's so boring, is not that it's a rest hold, but it's people treat it as a rest hold. Mojo doesn't. He's like moving around, trying to get out, really selling that, you know what, he's in pain, and he needs to get the hell out of there. So, it's hard to say this, but guys, take a lesson from Mojo here. The green guy is showing you how to actually sell a rest hold.
Yeah, really. Don't be dead fish. No one likes dead fish.
Exactly.
Unless you're going to fry it up.
Exactly. Mojo gets back in control after the brief control from Jinder Mahal, but a rake to the eyes and getting sent into the ring post allows Jinder to hit the Colossus and get the win.
Oh yeah, I picked up on the fact that it's called the Colossus, not just the Kloss. Because I'm like, that's not a claws. That's not a claw hold. What's wrong with you people? Oh, it's just people not pronouncing things or enunciating. I don't know what a Colossus is, but it sounds like you're not saying the word Colossus correctly. Also, it's a Cobra Clutch slam, and it's not very good.
No, nothing Jinder does in the ring is very good.
He's got a good sneer, but other than that,
yeah.
I don't know what this open hand thing he's doing, like when he raises his hand up, and it's just like, I'm about to do the Queen Wave, but he doesn't do the Queen Wave.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that is,
I
and it makes
don't really
him
get
look. It actually makes me think of him as weak because he's just lifting an open palm like very delicately, and that's not what I expect some kind of monster raging, angry heel to do.
Yeah, there's a lot that doesn't really work with this gimmick. Just a lot. My only note really on the match was, well, this probably was it was a good use of both guys, to be honest. Like this, like I said, this is probably a better matchup than you really have any reason to expect out of Mojo and Jinder. It's not a great look when your champion is kind of legitimately getting beaten up by a mid Carter for most of the match. Like, I understand that Jinder is a heel, therefore he doesn't really have to be dominant. He can win by cheating, but he was properly getting his arse kicked by a guy who has never had a singles championship and has never really been in a feud even for a singles championship. So it's not building the already weakness of Jinder's title run.
Dead arse. This, although he does play, Mojo plays into my future suit stable, because later on when Mojo's run out of steam, or maybe they just want to give him a gimmick change, and then Samoa Joe, maybe is taking a bump too many and needs to calm his style down, they can both put on suits, and then you can have Samoan Joseph and Mo Joseph, and they can just be like just very proper dudes who work maybe an old British style and don't do any high flying, and people will hate them.
I could dig.
Yeah. Also, I've heard, and by heard I mean seen mentioned on one website, and also heard from the Wrestle Talk guys when they do their Wrestle Rambles. Apparently, they're giving the Indian translation of Raw or of SmackDown. Basically, they're putting Jinder over as the face against the ignorant Americans. So that's how they're trying to get him over in their country. And I guess, I don't know if it's working or not, but somebody else made mention of people like this having some sort of a Bret Hart effect, where he was cheered always in Canada, regardless if he was heel or not. And I guess to some effect that's true, but I don't think those two particular things go together. Like, if you got to put him over as a face on commentary, even if you're doing that, there's not really a big chance that people are going to buy into it if they can speak English, and a lot of them can speak English.
Well, it's also that makes it even worse that he's having to cheat to win. Like, really cheat to win. Like, in all of his matches, he has no control, no offense. He seems like the weakest champion ever.
Yeah.
And if he's a heel, it's not good, but like, it kind of works. But if you're trying to also put him as a face at the same time, God, he needs to be beating Mojo Rawley up. Like, you can't have this match if that's what you're going for. Like, nothing about this is working. There's no logic that saves this.
No, I don't know. I guess if they give him a long enough push, everything gets over in the long run. But I don't know how long it's going to take, and I don't know if Vince is going to have any patience, because he's probably going to have one of those.
Longer than getting Roman Reigns over, my friend.
I don't know about that, but it's possible.
Like, unless Jinder can change things unless Jinder can get much better.
Yeah.
But the problem is again, I don't have a problem with this, him being a WWE champion or the character or whatever, but it totally came out of nowhere and he's not ready. That's the problem. If you wanted to build him for like 2-3 years, this could work. But right away, it's so obviously a marketing ploy. And a marketing ploy I don't get, because there's no money to be made in India. Really. You already have the TV deal that is basically making the network useless to them.
Yeah.
So why would they buy it?
I don't know. We've been over that, and it doesn't make any sense. But apparently that's what they're trying to do.
Anyways, Jinder got on the mic, and it pretty much sucked after the match.
I skipped that, too.
Yeah, it wasn't that good. Anyways, the Money in the Bank thing I had was I wanted to get Mojo into the Money in the Bank, and I wanted to get Kevin Owens out of the main Money in the Bank, because I wanted a U.S. title match on the pay-per-view, basically, in a nutshell. Kevin Owens being in the Money in the Bank is cutting down on the number of quality matches you could do. And I also thought that if you put Owens in there with Shinsuke Nakamura in a U.S. title match on the pay-per-view, you could potentially get Nakamura over more because it gives him more ability to show what he's got as opposed to the ladder match, which is kind of a spot fest, no real psychology. No one really gets over in the Money in the Bank, basically, so I don't...
Unless you're Kofi Kingston.
Unless you're Kofi Kingston, but then you're just getting over that you will do really, 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 really dumb but exciting stuff.
Did they ever have Shelton Benjamin and Kofi Kingston in the same Money in the Bank at the same time?
I cannot recall them having it. It's possible, but But so what I would have done was put Nakamura and Owens in a program for the U.S. title. Then you have something happening. Put Mojo in basically Nakamura's spot in the Money in the Bank. But I, for the life of me, couldn't think of another heel to put in there with Baron Corbin and Dolph Ziggler. That's how thin the roster is.
Hey, maybe they can get that mid-card Indian fella. I think he... Oh, wait.
Well, yeah, they put the title on him, so that's kind of the thing. Again, but the roster is thin. They really need something from like NXT or something. Face side is not terrible because you still have Harper. You still have Harper and Dillinger at that point on the face side, but on the heel side, it is thin.
They have Eric Rowan. They could do Eric Rowan.
I guess it would be Eric Rowan, yeah.
Although I like Eric Rowan. I don't know if he's going to be able to stay heel.
I think he will. So we moved on to a Nakamura promo package, and then a Randy Orton backstage package where he talked about actions speaking louder than words.
Yeah, it was short and sweet, and
it
was alright, and then we moved on.
It was fine. Then we had the Colognes versus New Day with the sort of B option lineup of Xavier Woods and Big E instead of Kofi.
Yeah, I'm not sure what was going on there.
Kofi is recently back from injury, so I think that might be a symptom.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that. I don't really have any real sound memories of this match. It seemed to be serviceable. There were some spots, and Xavier Woods hit a monstrous top rope maneuver that was pretty damn awesome, the missile drop kick.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I guess it was just an match against the Colognes. I really want them to stop burying the Colognes because they seem like cool guys. They seem like
Primo and Epico can wrestle. I don't really know why there hasn't been any real... There never has been an attempt to push that team, to be honest.
No. Matter of fact, I think they've gone out of the way to bury them. And same thing with the club. I think if the club and the Colognes join forces, then they could have their own federation.
I think it has to do with Carlito being a proper hardballer with the WWE, and they've kind of punished his family for it.
That'll make no sense, but okay.
It makes sense, but it doesn't make sense in the sense that you're at that point saying, we do not want the money.
Well, just give them, you know what, the best revenge is success. And if you can demonstrate the fact that somebody else in your family that may not even be as talented as you is having more success, maybe you should have played ball.
Yeah. They're just confirming what Carlito feared was going to happen because they're burying his cousins. I think they're his cousins anyways. I'm not 100% sure on the family tree.
One might be a brother.
It might be a brother-cousin type deal. Other than that, Big E got some nice suplexes in and a nice big splash. It was a good match. I enjoyed it thoroughly. The end came when Xavier got the blind tag on Big E, and we got the Midnight Hour for the 3 count.
Yep.
And then we had the Usos come out and spar verbally. Some of it was good, but most of it was not very good.
No, I just... and you know what? I see other people saying that they really like these promos, and I don't know why. I just have no clue as to what's supposed to be making them good.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. Like, I hear a lot of people talking about how this is the best Usos that have been or whatever, and I'm not enjoying it. But you know what? If the majority likes it, who am I to disagree?
Correct. That you would be correct to disagree.
Yeah, I'm just saying. If it's actually making the majority of the fans happy, keep doing it. I'm going to continue to not particularly enjoy it, but
it's just really awkward. I don't understand. They tried to do this new get 'em thing, and every line out of their mouth was just cornier than Kansas. It was just bad. And then they started then at the end they tried to do the Oos, and they keep trying to push this Usos penitentiary. nobody cares. It's so corny. It's so bad.
I agree, but apparently people care. So I don't know what to tell you.
Not my thing.
Then we got an NXT promo, and then Sami Zayn backstage. He was talking about watching footage to prepare for Money in the Bank. He's talking about Nakamura being a huge threat. And then Baron Corbin comes in and punches him, and then beats him down with some strategically placed ladders.
Yarp.
And Baron says Sammy should be afraid of him, and that, hey, there's an open spot on commentary, because Sammy was going to be coming down for commentary.
Yeah. At some point, if they're done burying Sami Zayn, they should probably they gave him wins over Baron Corbin and then let Baron Corbin kayfabe put him in the hospital overnight.
Yeah. It's not great.
I guess it's how you get a heel over, but Sammy's doing it the best way that can possibly be doing that kind of task. So that's good.
I think it kind of works with Sammy because he's got such a lovable underdog thing that it's not hurting him as much as it would another face.
No, that's true, but I would still, you're going to have to put him in some other kind of weird little feud after this. If they don't give him the big blow-off on this one in an emphatic way, then, they could be making so much money right now with another Owens-Zayn feud that it's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. And they could be building another huge superstar in Sami Zayn. But they're not. They just want to do giant, like a 15-man battle royal for a shot at a title at some point, which, depending on who gets it, probably won't get that title win. How many times has the Money in the Bank been cashed in and not won? One time? Twice. Okay, so there's precedent, and they'll probably do it again, if not this year, then next year.
Possibly. Then we had Shane and Naomi's bit, which basically just led to Naomi facing Lana at Money in the Bank, and we'll put her title on the line.
Which is weird.
Yeah, debut in a title match on a pay-per-view.
Yay, Women's Revolution.
Yeah, not feeling great about that. I like Lana, but having never seen her wrestle, I have no reason to expect this to be good.
Correct.
Because Naomi is a perfectly serviceable wrestler, but someone who needs someone to lead. You put her in there with Charlotte, I think it'd be a great match. Or Becky. Or her matches with Alexa Bliss were actually quite good. But she's also capable of having some crappers. Because I think her success in the ring is based on the fact that she's quite athletic, not that she really has an intricate knowledge of wrestling.
I would agree.
Then we had TJP pimping his match with Neville. No problem with that. And then we had Kevin Owens versus Shinsuke Nakamura with Baron Corbin on commentary.
I didn't really like this match so much. It was fine, but not what I was hoping for.
I would have liked it in a vacuum if I hadn't seen Kevin Steen versus Shinsuke Nakamura at War of the Worlds in ROH.
Yeah.
Which I went and watched after this, and it completely ruined my any appreciation I had for this match because it's so much better. But there were some things I liked about it. Nakamura's kicks were good. Owens actually will eat his kicks, unlike a lot of people who seem very afraid of them.
Yeah.
So that's good. So this match was enough to make me want to see more of these two guys wrestling each other. But it makes me want to see them wrestle better, because I know they can.
Yup.
We had a pretty sweet cannonball spot from Owens, and the end came with Nakamura hitting an Explorer suplex, and then getting a Kinshasa for the 3 count. I totally wrote Explorer in my notes instead of Exploder. That's great.
Now we're gonna have to invent that suplex now. The Explorer suplex.
The Explorer suplex. I know. Got to think of something for that.
We have to do it maybe you throw them over. It's like a back suplex, but you throw them over the rope and through a table or something. Go exploring.
Go exploring. Baron on commentary was not really any worse than anyone else on the 4-man booth, so that's a win. Because he's kind of awkward on the mic, so to do as well as everyone else is actually not bad. Like that's a sign of progress.
He was very, very relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciated that aspect of things, but he just kept he didn't say anything interesting.
Well, again, that's the content. There's no content to his feud with Sami Zayn. It's bully and victim. Like that's it.
Yeah, it was just basically he was just very relaxed, which I thought was good. If you want to be the relaxed, confident heel, that's good. Because that plays differently than Owens's kind of intense, confident, arrogant sort of heel persona. And then you've got another arrogant heel in Dolph Ziggler who just doesn't really give a fuck. And so you've got three different aspects of the same kind of character, which at least is refreshing.
It also sells a little bit more when Baron's getting worked up over something in the ring. That outside of the ring, he's this laid-back guy. So, like, when he's getting frustrated in the ring, it has that much more impact.
Mm-hmm.
And Baron eventually ambushed Nakamura, hit the end of days. Left Nakamura laying. This is another thing about the three-man booth that I'm going to briefly rant on here, is that the guest commentary with the two-man booth kind of works. Because you put a third man out there, and it's still kind of jumbled, but it's doable. When you do the three-man booth and then you have the fourth guy on guest commentary, God, is it chaotic, and God, does the commentary actually take away from the match.
There was one point where somebody had asked Baron a question, and he was giving the answer when Cole... Was it Cole? Or... Who's on...
It's Tom Phillips.
Oh, Phillips. All right, cool. Sorry, Tom. Sorry. So Phillips quickly went to count the pinfall, and Corbin started his story, got interrupted, and smoothly finished his story without any problems. So that particular moment shows me a bunch. But yeah, with four guys there, like, can we just tell you what? Why don't you just put all of the different language booths together on one table, and then we can all have everybody talking all at the same time, because it would be roughly the equivalent.
I have yet to see a reason why this three-man booth is a good idea.
I don't have a clue.
I truthfully don't.
You just get to pay more guys more money and have the commentary be worse?
I think, like, sure, you're developing more commentators simultaneously, but then just have, like, a rotating booth. Like, have... This week, it's Tom Phillips is going to be with Byron Saxton. This week, it's Tom Phillips and Percy Watson. You know? Just rotate them in and out.
There is something to be said with a consistent partner, and you build chemistry, and that's really awesome. I mean, as bad as the King was at being, all he did was shout tits nonstop for like 6 years straight.
He was infinitely worse when JR wasn't sitting next to him.
Oh, it was so bad.
Him and Jonathan Coachman was god-awful.
Yeah, JR plus anyone is usually pretty good. And JR plus the King back in the day was JR desperately trying to drag the King to some sort of semblance of coherence. But three people in one place, you could probably do it with JR, because two of those guys will shut the fuck up while JR is goddamn well talking.
Maybe, but yeah, these three-man booths are not doing great. The overproduced commentary is not doing great. Commentary is honestly maybe the biggest problem in WWE right now.
I mean, if you put Graves and Phillips together, it's usually awesome.
Oh, we get to see that, 205 Live.
Exactly. And usually, I don't know if Vince has gone to bed by the time 205 Live gets taped. I'm assuming it's taped, not live. And I'm assuming Vince has gone to bed by then and isn't around also he doesn't fly down to Florida to get in the ear of people doing commentary. So Nigel McGuinness doesn't have to go in the back and give a jawbreaker lariat.
Yeah. The only problem with NXT commentary is really Percy Watson.
He's fine. He just doesn't make a lot of noise. It's fine.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. He bugs me.
It's the eyebrows, isn't it?
This has nothing to do with physical appearance.
Lies.
I actually liked him when he was on NXT as the wrestler on the reality show. I thought he could do good things, and when they named him as the announcer, I'm like, that could be good, and it's not been. It's not really clicking with me. We'll just put it that way. So that was SmackDown for this week. I liked it. So you know what? We're up to 5 straight hours of WWE television that I have enjoyed. So this is a good week. To be
acceptable.
Mm-hmm. So keep it up. Keep taking the good stuff and making more of it, and try to limit the bad stuff.
Correct.
So we'll be back at you with the 205 review if you haven't watched it before this.